Hello, it's Valerie from Shalebrook Handcrafted Soap in Moser River, Nova Scotia. Today I want to show you a video on how I do my hot process soap with 33% lye liquid. I don't normally do that. That's a rare thing for me. 35 can be a doable thing to get manageable hot process. 38, if you're a beginner, would be a great way to start. 38. When I do hot process ocean brine soaps, I have done them at 38, but I think it's best to do those at 40%. So there's different ways to do hot process, and there's different amounts of liquid that you can use in it. What I'm doing today is I'm going to do this at 33% liquid, and I'm going to, out of that total amount, which is 5.3 ounces of total liquid, I'm going to use 1.3 ounces of coconut milk, and I'm going to add that hot after the cook. 4 ounces of water is going to mix my lye amount, which is 2.2 ounces of lye. I could have held more back, and I could do, you must do exactly the same amount of liquid as lye. So I could do 2.2 ounces of water and 2.2 ounces of lye. But I always like to use a little bit more. That's me. Please feel free to do what you like. I just wanted to show you with this formula that I have that the 33% is quite manageable. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to split up the batter, and I'm going to do an in-the-pot swirl with TD water soluble for the base and activated charcoal for the ribbon in it. And my silicone molds I'm going to put in an oven that's at 170 Fahrenheit. And one of my favorite fragrances is rice flower shea, but that's not going to be in this soap today. But another real favorite of mine, and it just has an addictive smell, it just draws you in, for me personally, and that would be 0.25 ounces of rose bouquet, 0.25 ounces of leather, and essential oil, 0.15 ounces of lemon fivefold. And it's just a great seller for me. I love it myself. If nobody bought it, that'd be absolutely fine. But so I wanted to show you this today, and I am going to give the formula for it. So you'll see that below the video, and you'll see text that says show more. You just click on that text, and it'll haul up the formula for this. And this is going to be a high temperature hot process. So please do make sure you wear safety gear, eyeglasses, and gloves, and have a water source close to you in case you get some lye on you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat my oils, and I'm going to mix my lye, and I'm going to bring you back when I'm ready to add those together. And what I'll do is instead of showing the complete video from beginning to end, I'll show the different stages as it goes through them. The oils are at about 174 Fahrenheit, and the lye is at about 190 Fahrenheit. My crock pot is on low. This is going to cook fairly quick, and the batter will be quite thick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just going to stick blend this to thick trace, and we'll let it go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my stick blender off. It's at thick trace there right now. And as soon as something happens to that, I'll bring you back so you can see it. So that actually took longer than I thought it would. So I just turned my crock pot on high. But you can see there that it's starting to rise up. You just want to make sure that you catch that. that would be a volcano. If you cook on really low temps, like 125, 135, chances are you might not get that. It would still rise up, but it wouldn't be what I would call a violent rushing up. So now if you were to look in here, you would see that that is basically a thick applesauce. So thick trace to applesauce. And I'll bring you back the next time. Okay, I wasn't going to do this, but I just wanted to show you another way that you can do it when you're at applesauce and doing high temperature. I'm just going to turn that down on low. And then I also just wanted to show you, this is one of the soaps from yesterday. The same formula, the same everything. That would be the bottom in the mold, and that would be the top. So, quite beautiful. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you was another way that you can do this, and I did, that's starting to rise up again, and you could probably, I don't know if you can see that starting to bubble, but if you didn't want to wait for all of that, you can use your stick blender to bring that to potato quicker. So that's totally up to you, just another way. If you're in a hurry, you want to get that over with, you can definitely use that. Now I'm going to turn that down on low because I wanted to show you how that there is, it's really cooking there now. Another thing that you can do to control that is to use a real warm mist spray. That'll help to control that, along with getting the air out while it cooks the potato. So I just wanted to show you that. So just in probably a minute, you can see that it's still cooking and my crock pot is on low now. And I just wanted to show you that it's still rising there. But you can see that there's this little fibers of pull. Sometimes you can notice that on your hot process. It's like taffy being pulled or whatever, like minute little threads. So I'm going to stir that up because that tells me that this is like probably right at potato stage right now. And I'll show you what that looks like. And the next stage after that is Vaseline. This is going to be real thick because of the very little amount of water that I'm using. And remember to always wear your gloves, because if that isn't completely saponified yet, which I'm pretty sure it is, but actually I'm going to test tongue zap that in just a second, as soon as that cools down. So basically, as you can see, and tip that up again, that is all potato stage. And some of that is Vaseline already. I'm just going to give that a spray. And what that does is it just helps it so you don't get dry pieces. And I'll bring you back probably in 1 to 2 minutes. So I tested, I did a tongue zap on that, and you don't have to do a tongue zap. I've always checked the pH on my soaps to make sure that there was no lye left in it. You can use pH strips that go from 0 to 14. You can do a tongue zap, or you can use phenolphthalein drops. That's up to you. Personally, I think you should always be checking that. Anyway, so there was no lye left in that, and I have my crock pot turned off. Now I'm going to add, and as you can see, that's all Vaseline and actually getting a bit dry on top there. So now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, a tablespoon of kombucha, and a tablespoon of aloe vera juice. This was super fatted up front, 5%, and I'm adding an extra 3% of perilla seed oil and camellia tea seed oil. And I always add those very hot. I keep them in simmering water in a fry pan on top of my stove. And I'm going to mix these up and just let them set a bit until that cools down a bit more. I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to add a tablespoon of yogurt, 5% sodium lactate, which is 0.8 ounces because this is a 1 pound batch. And next thing I'm going to add is my yogurt. I usually add 1 tablespoon of plain yogurt. This is 2% fat, and I add this at room temperature. I don't heat up my yogurt, and you shouldn't. You can add it right out of the fridge, but you want to make sure that you get that mixed up really well because it can cook, and you'll get little pieces of it in there, and they'll be like rubbery and hard. So you want to make sure that you get that all mixed up. Yogurt is really good. It adds creaminess, but it also, some of that will convert to sodium lactate, which will help make the soap more manageable. Now this is still real thick because it's at such a low liquid. And then I have my sodium lactate that I'm adding warm. And like I said, that's 5%. Sodium lactate is awesome for the skin. It's great for aging skin. It's a great humectant, and the bonus is it helps to harden soap. And I've tried different ways of adding that. I've added it to my lye liquid when it's low temp. I don't ever add it when the lye is hot. And you'll see that's still really thick there. Still really thick. But even if you wanted to do that, you could actually plop that into a mold and probably get a pretty even without too many air pockets in it. Now this is a reusable plastic cap. I just ordered some more off the internet. I just find they do help to keep it better than just the lid. And now I'm going to add my 1.3 ounces of coconut milk. And I add that hot. I'm just heating that up in the microwave there. I'm actually going to take my gloves off now. I don't like wearing them, but they're a necessity. Can't imagine how many times they've saved me from lye burns, so important thing to wear safety gear. And my glasses. Okay. So now I'm going to add my hot coconut milk. Because it's still in this electric pot, you want to make sure that you actually I'm going to add my fragrance oil and essential oil as well. And I heat those up too. I heat them up. This is probably quite hot because it was in that simmering water on my stove in the frying pan. It all goes to help having a manageable batter. And truly, that doesn't matter unless you just want to design. That's the only point that I see in having a manageable batter. You know, to do the best you can, right? The main thing about a soap, and it's always been my motto from get-go after buying soaps my whole life and never having any help me, is that the soap should be good for the skin. And to me, that means non-stripping and higher conditioning. Now, of course, that wouldn't be in a shampoo bar or a laundry bar, but in a body bar and a facial bar, most definitely. So this is this milk actually is extremely hot. Hope it is. I actually put it in there. I should have checked it. So that was 1.3 ounces of coconut milk that I held back. And I don't deduct my sodium lactate. I don't deduct my yogurt. And I don't deduct the tablespoons of water I mix my sugar with. You can if you like. I don't. Okay, I'm just going to let that set for probably just 1 minute, and you don't have to. I'm just going to let it set there 1 minute, and then I'm going to divvy up, and I'll show you what I do with it. So I'm going to, I always keep really hot scalding water in my cups. Every little bit helps. See if you can see that. So I'm just going to spray the top of those. This is the titanium dioxide water soluble. I don't use the oil soluble anymore. It's not very good stuff, I don't think. And I'm going to put a teaspoon of hot scalding water in this cup to get the rest of that titanium out of there. So I'm going to get these mixed up, and I'll bring you back when I go to put them together. So here's my activated charcoal. Here's my titanium dioxide, the white base. And here's the container I'm going to put them in. It's a 1 pound batch. It's a 4-cup mold, I think this is. And 4-cup container, I mean, sorry. And it's full of scalding hot water. And there's many different ways you can do this as well. You know, feel free to do it as you like it. So let me see if you can see there. No, okay, hopefully you can see there now. So how am I going to do that? So, and of course I'm going to use less black because I have less. So it's pretty manageable there. And just pan it down. I'm actually going to take that out, and I'm going to use this just to flip it up from the bottom. Just a couple of times. So you will get different. So now I'm going to get my mold out of the oven. And it's a silicone mold, and it's been in there on 170 Fahrenheit. You can put that on 150 or 160. And here we go. Can you see that? Yes, you can. And let me see, can you see up here? Yep. And I'll just bang those down. Put a bit more in here. I like to have them full. And see if I can scrape enough out of this in this little muffin. And then I'll have some for a puck too. Super. That's starting to get hard pretty fast. And I'll just bang these down. And now what I'm going to do is just to do a little design in the top. Well, yeah, in the top. And I've got a stick over here in hot water. And basically I'll just do some curly cues in it. Try to see if I can get a design in there. And what I'll do is I'll show you these when I take them out of the mold. I'll show pictures of them and you can see how they turned out. Thank you for joining me today for this 33% liquid hot process. Just wanted to show you the lather from that 33% soap that I had made. Do you want to expand that some, honey, please? Mm-hmm. Just bring it out a bit. No. Yeah, good. Thank you. Oh, whoa. Not good. I lost the puck. Where's the puck? Okay, I got some cold water. Doesn't matter. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go on for the lather test. Beautiful. So lovely. Love lather. You can have bubbles, but wow, lather. It's awful nice. Okay, I just wanted to show you that.